I'm Naomi Olutayo, and I partner with women to transform their brands to mirror the highest vision that God has given them with brand strategy. And today, I want to talk about the polarity of business and branding, the feminine and masculine nature of both of them. And if you watched my other video, the difference between a business that sells products and a brand, there is a difference. And so I'm going to be using brand and business not interchangeably, but as polar opposites, as we'll learn if we get into it. So, what is polarity? If you are spiritual, your first thought would think of duality, balance, or opposites. I know there are other definitions for biology and chemistry and physics, but I'm going to be sticking with the spiritual definition. And as I said, it represents balance, duality, and opposites. It's a relationship between two opposite characteristics or tendencies. In this case, branding is feminine and business is masculine, and therefore they are opposites. They are opposites due to their function and their purposes. So for a brand, I like to refer to it as the DNA of a business. And I know that variable changes interchangeably, but for the sake of this video, I would like you to think of a brand as the DNA of a business. So the function of a brand is magnetism and attraction, and the purpose is impact and integration. If you've been following me for the past couple of videos, then you would know that a brand is not a brand if it's not impactful. So I would love for you to take a look at those videos so you can get up to speed for what I'm going to be talking about today. A business is always, without any other variable, it's always the avenue through which money can flow. A business is an avenue through which money can flow. If you watched my last video, it's the definition that I gave it is a legal entity that sells products or services. So the function of business is structure and discipline, and the main purpose, the sole purpose of a business is cash flow. Without money, it's not a business; it's a hobby, which I know you know that already. Every business is a brand, but not every brand. Every brand is a business, but not every business is a brand. Now, I keep saying that distinction is important because I would like you to see them as opposites that complement each other. When they live in harmony together, when there's duality between it, it's supposed to function and make a beautiful symphony of notes that work together to attract each of their individual purposes and functions together. Now, when you think of branding, there is a masculinity side to branding outside of the business structure. Because remember, every brand is a business. You can't have a brand without a business in terms of product-based companies. Maybe if you have a personal brand, yes, but typically people don't start personal brands without desiring to get paid. In that case, they're structured a little bit different, but we're talking about product-based brands here. So the masculinity of branding needs structure, because when you attract things and when you become magnetic as a brand through the exemplification of your purpose, through your visual branding and essence, your energy, you're drawing people in, you're moving people, you're impacting people, you're making people be influenced to make a decision, to become somebody, to think a type of way. And since you are doing that, you need a structure to hold them in. And that's found oftentimes in your purpose. Your purpose is the structure of your brand. I call it the heart of the brand, because every single thing that you do for your brand, in your brand, with your brand, whatever reason, flows through the heart of your brand. Your purpose. Your purpose is that structure, and that purpose is always connected to a vision, which is leaning more towards the feminine side of branding. There's a polarity in branding in itself as well. So the femininity of branding is found in its flow, not cash flow, but in intuition, perceptivity, prophetic giftings, vision, and creativity. These are the things that are more feminine in nature They're the attraction, they're the magnetism. That's where the wisdom, the innovation, the creativity thrives. And as somebody who's a spiritual being, as someone who has received their vision from God or the universe or wherever you divinely got your brand to be inspired from, there is a fullness and an expanse of a vision and a purpose for that vision that you were given and that is housed within you, that is now going to be exemplified through your intuition, your inner guide, your vision, etc., etc., etc. That's important to note because a lot of people like to take brands in the same way that they take a business. Remember, branding is feminine in nature. The functions of the brand is magnetism and attraction. It's a lot more, I always say it exists in the intangibles. When you have a brand, you may have the visuals, but really the brands exist in your mind first. And as you share and as you market yourself, it exists in the minds of your customers. I talked in my previous videos about how a brand gives people an identity to opt into. It associates them with a status as they own or have ownership of the products that you provide for them. It integrates people into community over a shared interest. It's all the work that it does really is in the perception of people. And that's where positioning comes into play, but we're not going to talk about that today. So when you're dealing with when you're dealing with your brand and you're making efforts to fulfill its purpose, which is impact and integration, and maneuver its function, which is magnetism and attraction, you have to approach it in the same energy that it exists in. It's very easy to lean too far on one side, which is the structure, the masculine part of your brand, which is purpose. We can be very tactical with purpose, but being spiritual beings, our purpose is very, I don't want to say fluid, but it's linked to our intuition and our inner guide. It's linked to the heart of our creator, I believe. So when you are building your brand and you are strategizing for your brand creatively, you have to allow yourself to exist in and submit to the natural flow and intuitiveness that comes with brand building. You know, when you are birthing your brand from the vision that you have in your mind, your intuition, it doesn't always follow standard procedure. If you are open to finally living out the fullness of your brand's expression and fully actualizing your brand. Actually, always, as soon as you look at yourself and you say, I want to completely overhaul what I've been doing and finally do what I was always meant to be doing. Or I finally want to take that risk that's really going to make me stand out amongst my competitors. I really want to build something, create something that has not been seen. Always, it's not going to follow standard procedure when you are existing in the entity of a brand. It goes against the grain naturally. It's you doing what has never been done before. And I always say it sounds nonsensical, irrational, and crazy. And a lot of times it's giving up a good thing for a better thing. That's the cost of birthing your vision, I would say, especially once you've started. The other day, I was watching a commercial by, I think it was like Squarespace, or I think it might have been Squarespace, I don't know, but this lady was telling her story of how there were two things that she loves, dancing and dogs, and she's like, I made a business out of both of my loves, and now she goes around the world teaching people how to dance with their dogs. And I was like, okay. I've never heard that before, but that's the thing. I'm obviously not her maybe not obviously, but I'm not her target customer at all. I don't have a dog, and I am not that invested in learning how to dance with my dog. But there are people out there who love that, and she's thriving. Do you know I can only assume how many people she's went to who told her that doesn't exist, that doesn't make sense, that's stupid, that's just like, why would you do that? Or I can bet if she had started her business trying to do this and getting some traction, but people swaying her against it because it just sounds so weird. And I mean, no hate to her, but it is weird. How many people do you know teach humans and dogs how to dance together? You probably never heard of that before. And that's what I always try to teach my clients, and that's what you'll continue to hear from me. Do what's never been done before. If you have this knowing, and I know you have that knowing within you, where you're supposed to make a pivot or a shift to maintain alignment within yourself as well as your vision and your creator, you're always going to hear that. You're going to hear that you're crazy. You're going to hear that it's nonsensical. You're going to hear that it's irrational, that you shouldn't give what you have up. And I just want you to know that it's important to just get the facets of understanding what it means to even fully exist in the fullness of that vision. And the fullness of that vision is polarity. So really, as you are shifting and maneuvering and making new things happen, you are working to find a balance. Find a balance between the masculine structure of your business strategy, and the feminine structure of the entity of your brand. Because there's a difference. And I'm telling you, definitely take a look at that video. The difference between a brand, a business that sells products, and a brand. And of course, you'll always hear me say, a brand must have healthy cash flow and profit. That's really where the true balance comes, because there would be no problem if you had that first settled. But also, for your brand to completely thrive, you have to have structures for the people that you attracted to exist and thrive in as well, which could be in the form of events, a status to subscribe to. Think luxury brands or trends, which I don't like using as much, but think of trends. Online community, in-person community, and or an aesthetic to subscribe to. Polarity in business is realignment. It's the process of actualizing your brand. And if you are somebody who has a product-based brand and you're a spiritual founder, entrepreneur, or business owner, and you're looking to realign your brand with the highest vision that you were given after so many years of trying to go the opposite direction, I created a guide that's linked down below called the Spiritual Woman Founder's Guide to a Fully Actualized Brand, to help you along that process. And I talk a little bit about what I spoke here in that guide. It's free and linked down below. Make sure to get yours. Please make sure to subscribe if you are somebody who is on a journey of actualization and ascension. Thank you for stopping by. I'm Naomi Olutayo, your resident brand strategist and spiritual doula, and I'll see you as soon as tomorrow. Bye.